Hello, and welcome to Chicago State University's Black Media and Entertainment Industry Conference. This four-day event is sponsored by the Department of Communications, Media Arts, and Theater here at Chicago State. For access to the conference program, please be sure to visit csu.edu/CMAT and click on events. I'm Kamesha, an associate professor of theater in the Department of Communications, Media Arts, and Theater, and I am very pleased to be here today with Southsider, Miss Rashada Dawan, and her daughter Genesis, who is scheduled to join us, is on set today shooting for the Shy, Showtime's hit series. So Rashada is going to give us a little look around the set before we get started. And then after we do that, I'll tell you a little bit about Rashada and Genesis.
Okay, well, hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. I have to be quiet because they're shooting, but we are at a warehouse here in Center Space. And what I'll do is try to get a little bit of this behind me. Let's see. It's not happening. A lot of people. So, big warehouse, and that's what's going on. So I'm gonna say that's about the most closest I probably can get to talking right now. But that doesn't mean that I won't be able to get closer a little later, okay? So Kamesha, if I can, let's say if they wrap, you might start seeing a slew of hordes of people coming my way.
Okay.
I'll try to get that.
Thank you. And you are at CineSpace shooting, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. For those of you who don't know, Rashada is, as I said, a Southsider, and she's a regular on the Chicago theater stages. She's done the Broadway touring production of Disney's The Lion King. She's also appeared at Black Ensemble Theater, Paramount Theater, Marriott Theater, and Caroline or Change, Aida, Dynamite Divas, to name a few. She is an award-winning and Jeff-nominated actress. She's appeared on Chicago PD and Shameless. And as we said, her daughter Genesis is a regular on the hit show The Shy. And I believe she's also got a couple of upcoming appearances in some films, correct?
Yeah, she's going to be in Candyman. Well, she's in Candyman. So when that decides to drop, yeah.
Okay, in the Candyman film. Also, Rashada is the founder and CEO of B-Fly Productions, which is a community arts organization that focuses on increasing mental wellness and decreasing violence through the performing arts. Rashada, thank you so much for being here with us today. If Genesis Rapson is able to join us, great. But can you tell us a little bit more about your background, and then we're going to dive in, ask a few questions, and then invite the audience to ask questions as well.
Sure. All right. So I kind of started, at the Southside YMCA dancing ballet at 4 years old. And when I was in about 5th grade, my teacher asked me to sing for a parent-teacher conference. And I remember staring at the ground for the whole time singing Miracles by Whitney Houston. I don't know if y'all remember that song. But I studied every floor plank I possibly could because I was just super duper nervous, and went on to do like spelling bees and talent shows and sing at church. And I was a kid during Thanksgiving where they'd be like, come in here and sing the song that you sang in the room that time. You're like, okay. Sing at beauty salons, wherever I could. My friends would dare me to sing on tables when we went to the mall. Like I was just always singing. And then when I got to high school, I went to Curie. Well, first I went to Beasley Performing Arts. Well, it wasn't Performing Arts, Lord Beasley Academic Center. And then went on to Curie Metropolitan High School, which at the time was a performing arts high school. And I joined the drama program and the chorus program there. I went on to go to Florida A&M because my stepmother said, hey, you like to sing and everything, but you don't need a job. So I don't know if a lot of y'all parents told y'all that. But so to make her happy, I majored in psychology and I minored in theater. And from there, I was sang in a whole bunch of different bands and graduated and went into social work because I really thought singing was just kind of not going to be my career. It was just going to be something I kind of moonlighted with, which I did. I would work 9 to 5 at a mental health agency and then do like theater at night. So I worked at ETA, which was the very first place that hired me to do a show for children's show. And then went on to do Black Ensemble Theater. And from there, it kind of just started going. So, but I've done so many things and I'm really glad to still be here. But when I went on tour, that was probably the when life started to really take a shift for me. Sorry. Um, and so, oh, oh, can you all hear me okay?
We can hear you, but we don't see you right now.
It says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it. So, oh, okay, there we go.
All right.
And so once I got on tour, the only thing I asked Disney at the time was, can my daughter travel with me? And they said, absolutely, because I wasn't going without her. So I let her stay here for like to finish off first grade with her dad. And then she came to live with me. So we lived in Las Vegas for about 10 months. And I enrolled her in school there. And that was our way of life. And then after that, we went on tour. And she traveled with me for 2 years on tour. And then she said, can I go home to have a regular life? So I was like, okay, because we were literally living out of our car on the road. People don't know how hard tour life is, but it's hard. And but she was great. I homeschooled her, and I would homeschool her in a day. And then the wives or the women of the Lion King show, like the husbands that would be in the show, they brought their wives with them. The wives would stay back and take care of all the children. So that was kind of our community. Or we'd like hire a nanny that would take care of all of our kids. So that helped a lot. But after that, Jen's like, yo, that's these only friends I got. And I'm like 6. So from that, she went on to attend private school here in Chicago while I stayed on the road for 2 more years. And then when I came back because I got sick. I mean, honestly, if I hadn't gotten sick, I probably would still be trying to be on the road. But I like to talk to people about mental health because I had a nervous breakdown. And that's the reason why I had to come home, because I was pushing myself way too hard. And so I came home thinking, would I ever work again? And just like, lo and behold, still at it. So I have another daughter now who's 3. And I honestly believe that God was like, because you stuck through that, I'm gonna go ahead and gift your child be a regular on the like international show. Because I was scared to death. I was like, how am I gonna have another child as an actor? I mean, the Professor Khan, I don't know if she tells y'all, but it's like, yo, it used to be looked down upon to have children and be an artist. And so that was unheard of. People used to have to hide the fact that they had children because people wouldn't hire them because the idea was that they wouldn't be able to make certain things or be as committed. But that's all hogwash because we're here. And so with a 3-year-old now who is probably going to bust out in her own show in a second, she's definitely hanging with us. And I'm just pleased to say that we're still here doing it. So.
Do you think that the time on the road inspired Genesis, who plays
Absolutely.
the Maisha, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, her story is that when she was on the road, so we would have we were in Mandalay Bay, where it sat about maybe 3,000 people. And I'd have her sit in the same chair every night if she wasn't with the daycare or with a sitter. And I'd see her from the stage. And one time when we would travel at any theater, like we'd have rehearsal, get off the road, have rehearsal, go rest, and then do the show that night. That was how we entered every city. And she was always sitting in for rehearsals. And one time I came out and she had notes for the cast. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I'm just telling people there's certain things that they did that they didn't do last time. And they didn't sing this song the same. I was like, you're going to get me fired. Like, go sit down, but she was dead serious. Like, she loved the show. That's all she knew. And so she literally wrote down, like, to the director, I was like, Genesis, don't do this. And they're like, Rashada. But the cast, a member of the cast said, Rashada, your kid has something special. And you know, all of us think our kids got something special, you know what I'm saying? But he's like, you really need to look into her having an agent. And he would tell me this all the time. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And once I got home, I was like, well, what would it hurt? I mean, I was letting her do everything, karate, gymnastics, um, you know, anything I could think of to put her in, she was in. So I'm like, well, it wouldn't hurt to get her an agent. So an agency here in Chicago was like holding cattle call for kids.
Can
And
you
so a
explain
certain,
what cattle call is for our
yeah,
audience?
so the cattle call is where anybody is welcome. So usually this is like an exclusive industry, you know, where you have to have certain credentials or certain relationships in order to know about certain things. Where cattle call is like they promoting on the radio, the newspaper, word of mouth, your church bulletin, like they letting everybody know that all are welcome to come and get looked at. So she was at this cattle call for like 3 hours. Same thing with the Lion King. They did a cattle call. I was there for like 8 hours. But that's the thing about a cattle call is you kind of got to wait. So if you think about like The Voice or America's Got Talent, all that, that's usually what a cattle call looks like. And so she waited, and I had some friends, luckily, who like knew me, who was like, if you got to make a run, I'll sit with her. So they was like, she needs to be picked up. So the agent picked her up, and she had this agent for like maybe 2 years. Maybe they sent her on like a call here or there, but I didn't take it serious. Neither did she. We was just excited that she got an agent. Oh, and so I'm like, well, when she got the shy call, I was like thinking it was like any other call she had been getting. And then when they called her in for the third time, I was like, hmm, they might really be considering you, huh? Then they was like asking to see her hair and asking about her measurements. And I was like, okay. Now the way this industry has trained me is you never count your eggs before they hatch. So I was never still, I wouldn't let myself really believe that something was gonna come of this because your heart gets broken if you don't get it and you put all this emotion into it. So I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is nice. Okay, Jen, wow, cool. When we got the call that she landed it, even then I'm thinking, oh, she'll just have a little part, you know, but I was really excited. So much so I like went on set with her with my 6 week old at the time. Journey was 6 weeks. And I was sitting at I'll never forget her first scene. She had to lick Alex's face. If y'all don't remember that, she played the bully. And her first scene was pushing him down on the ground, straddling over him and licking his face, telling him she liked him. And I looked at the little boy and looked at his mom and was like, "Oh, okay. So, y'all like new at this, or you do this?" And Alex's mom was like, "Yeah, he just won an Oscar." And I was like, "For what?" She's like, "Moonlight." And I'm like, it all just like started coming to me like, "Oh my gosh, this is real. This is really real." I had never worked in that capacity before at the time, so I was just like, "Oh." I just got a crash course in all of it. And this girl has been doing this show now for 4 seasons. And it just seems like she's getting better and better and better and better. So
Well, and
it's a
clearly there are
blessing.
other opportunities, right? With Candyman coming and
Yeah,
other doors
yeah.
opening.
And I mean, I actually am going to be making a special appearance myself this season. So
Oh,
that's a little,
can you tell
secret
us
that I
yet?
ain't
Oh,
telling
you can't tell
everybody.
us. Okay. So
Yeah,
we
but
should
if you,
just keep our eyes open, right?
yeah. Because everybody's even here. They're like, wait, when you just didn't you come out? Wait a minute. I'm like, yeah. So it's
On the
cool.
shy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know you have this long history of acting. You told us a little bit about how you got into it, but you're also a representative for the union, right? A delegate.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your role is there and what that means for people
Yeah.
who are interested in acting, how the union and your role can be of assistance to them?
Sure. So so there's a union for theater stage actors and stage managers called Actors Equity Association. So I am a Central Region Principal Delegate. It's broken up between principal and chorus. Chorus is like when you work in an ensemble. Principal is like if you have a lead character. And so a delegate is somebody who works. So there are different tiers of representation. You have your president, executive director, then you also have your counselors, and then you have your delegates. So a counselor is really a delegate as well, but a delegate doesn't have final voting power over a resolution. What we do is make recommendations from the ground. So like general membership, if we did a listening tour to hear like as many members as we could about what they wanted to do. And then we transferred that into a resolution, like write it up with the verbiage and then send that to convention, which literally just ended 2 days ago. And then the counselors, then we vote on if that's a resolution that the counselors should look at. And then the counselors take it and then they really study it to see what can be made like one of the bylaws. And then they vote it in or out. So that's
But
the
with the union, the resolutions and what they're voting in and out, what are those rules? How are they used to help actors?
So the union, the Actors Equity is a labor union. So that means they protect you once you get the job. A lot of members actually feel like it's hard it's hard, even though it's possible, but it's hard to like protect you in an audition process because you haven't really become employed by an organizational producer yet. So labor laws are there to help you make sure that you like get paid a certain amount, that you feel safe, that you that contracts are abide by. Okay, but that the most protection is when you are an employed artist. And they also govern like healthcare, like educate. They do education. Um, that's pretty much like bargaining agreements. All of that, how they sit down and talk with producers and even producing houses. These are things that the Actors Equity Association protects you. I'll give you an example. Me personally, I worked at Second City, and I was filling in for a member who quit. She quit the job, did not want to do it anymore, and told them that. So they had to bring somebody in immediately. So I was brought in, and I had my own contract fulfilling like the initial obligation she had. Well, oh, it looks like they might be wrapped. But Genesis hasn't come by yet, so I'm gonna not do anything. Are they wrapped? Oh, never mind. You're done? You have to change. Okay, so you're not done. Okay.
Can
I
she
can't show her.
wave by really fast or anything?
Maybe when she comes back out, I'll have her like give us a wave, but we can't show her costume.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so I was filling her applications. Well, what is his name? The main dude who does all the hiring from Saturday Night Live. What is his name? I cannot think of it right now. Anyway, he came and he was like, wanted to see the show because some people from Saturday Night Live had already come to see the show. And that's usually where a lot of Saturday Night Live people come to like vet is at Second City. So I was like, okay. So they told me they want the girl who was previously doing the job to come back because she had wrote some of the stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, you can't do that because I'm in the middle of my contract. And they literally was like, well, I mean, we gonna still have her come back at me, and once she does stand some anyway, once she comes and works for does her show, then we'll have you come back. I said, no, that's not fair. I should be seen. So he was like, well, you can make the call. I mean, you can tell the union, but whatever you do, we're gonna pay the fine and then do what we want to do. So I did. I called the union and they said, you're right, that's not fair. They cannot do that. And they will have to pay a fine. And you have to decide if you want to return or not. If you do, then work. But if you don't, we'll make sure that they give you severance for not fulfilling the contractual obligations. And I decided to not return. And so they paid me out. But that's kind of one of the things that you get the union, because now I haven't had to see anybody since then, talk to anybody. It's no stress for me. It was just like cut me a check. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of where the union was able to support me in that situation.
So since we have some young actors who are just trying to step into this industry, how can they gain union membership?
Okay, so there's SAG-AFTRA, which is TV film. Genesis and I are both members of that. That's kind of when you work so many hours on set in so many projects that are SAG-AFTRA affiliated. So that's for TV film and then voice. And then for Actors Equity stage, you have two ways. You could be EMC which is like, this is when you accrue so many points. Let's say a producer who is hiring union artists or maybe a union house, they can give you points for working in their show as a non-member, but working towards accruing, I want to say up to like 40 or 50 points, and then you automatically get membership. Or you can do like what I did. I worked non-union for the first half of my career, and then once Disney picked me up and I joined the Lion King, that's a union show where you have to be in the union in order to work it. So you just put in, and I didn't have to go through getting points.
Mhm. And there are union dues as within a union that you pay to help maintain your health insurance and everything.
Yes, they are. But I'll give you a trick. You know, a lot of people actually come to Chicago to join the union because the union dues are a little cheaper, about maybe $1,000 cheaper than like if you were to start out in LA.
Okay.
So your dues are higher there. That's for SAG-AFTRA. I don't know. I don't think it's different for Actors Equity.
How important is an agent in terms of getting work in this industry?
Okay.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry, Rashada, 1 second. Someone did
okay.
pose a question to the panel. Yes, we will take questions in a few minutes. Okay, go ahead, Rashada.
These are all my opinions. So I want to state that up front. A lot of these things that I share are based on my personal experiences. So they're not facts. Okay. But in regards to an agent, for me, I feel like if you're in a place like, I think for stage in general, I don't think an agent is really that necessary as much as it is for TV and film. TV and film, they have a way of vetting out, you know, how they want certain artists. So the agents in TV, if they specialize in TV and film, they get certain access to like emails, and they have relationships. So people kind of like start to build relationships with them and just will send them. So they'll send them certain notices. Now you can have like Actors Access and I want to say like Acting Network, but these are like general websites or that you can be a part of, and you can check for yourself to see if you want to submit. The only thing is there's no relationship there, so you're kind of like coming off the street to, and they just like, if they feel like trusting somebody who's not affiliated with an agent, they can. But people tend to like to work with people that have some sort of reference, and your agent is like that reference for you. So TV film is that kind of world. For theater though, they love unvetted talent. They're looking for like new faces all the time where they can be like, oh my gosh, we didn't know, you know. So you can walk into an Actors Equity audition if you want, and like sit there, because the trick to that is and being a stage actor, it's good to be a part of Actors Equity because you get to make an appointment, and that means you definitely get to be seen. But if you are not in the union, you kind of have to wait for one of the members to miss out on an appointment for them to say, then you got to wait for an EMC person to miss out on an appointment. Then they get to you and say if you're there. So we used to have to wait for hours just to be seen. But once you get in the room, now it's up to them to give you a call back or not. And then there's no waiting, you got an appointment. So a lot of people do it that way too. So I just say, if you have an agent, again, for someone's question about EMC, it's, I can't remember what the acronym means at the time, but EMC is someone who's not a union member of Actors Equity, but they are working towards it. So they are accruing points so that they can become a member. But yeah, those are the pros and cons of having an agent, because you also have to break off the agent. The agent has a fee too. So every job you get, you have to pay them. And it can be anywhere from 10 to 12% to up to 20%. So
And the benefit of that is they may help you get more jobs, right?
yes, they do. They do. Like right now, I'm sort of like, I really don't want to have to break off an agent 15, 20% of stage work, because I'm already established in stage, where people can kind of think of me and I can say, hey, can I be seen for this? Can I come in for this audition? Like Chicago has certain hubs of theaters that you can just kind of come in on. And then once they know you, they're asking you like, yo, do you want us to go through your agent for this? You know what I mean? But if you book it through your agent, then you have to pay them. So
how important are resumes and headshots?
Oh, I can't stress this enough. Headshots are super important because that's your first representation in the room. If you, I mean, and now it's self tapes. So I think self tapes and headshots, how you invest in getting that back screen, like professional, make sure you have like the right lighting, the right sound, all of that matters because then that helps people know what they're going to be working with once they hire you. So you don't, and it doesn't, having a resume, let me be clear about this too. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to have all the background of all these professional gigs you did. Sometimes it's not that. It's just knowing that, like, if your headshot is good and you may have like one or two things you did, and then you list your hobbies, then you list your interest or something on there or your education on there, people are like, yo, bring them in, let's see them, you know. But if you don't have a resume, if you don't have your headshot, that also kind of shows like it might not be the most professional person to work with.
Okay, I'd like to,
Thank you, equity membership candidate. Thank you,
I
Lisa.
would like to take a few questions from the chat before we wrap up. So if you guys have a few questions, please pose them. I know that one person at least.
Sid, are you gone? You coming back? Okay. Oh, okay. Just say hey. They just want you to say hey.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Genesis, y'all.
Here. And she lean her head in a little bit.
Jen, you want to lean your head in just a little bit?
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you. Someone says, what
Are
methods?
you okay? Can I stay here? You cool? Okay. Did you eat? Your food is in your Maisha chair. Okay.
Okay, she's also a momager, right? She's a stage mom, so she's got to make sure her baby has everything she needs on set.
And that's I don't care. Everybody gonna know. Stop. She needs to drink water or something.
Ken Jackson asks, what methods do you employ to strengthen your craft?
So I take class. I practice, I warm up. I also go to the gym. I have a gym membership. Being on the road has definitely taught me that to have some type of constant regimen of self care is necessary. But I try to, if I need to take a workshop or take a class, I just finished an 8 week emotional regulation class online. It was great. I'm going to re sign up, take the intermediate 27-week class because it was just that good, learning the album method. Um, but those are things that okay, I can't stress enough to do. Um, a lot of people feel like this industry is so glamorous and great. Who wouldn't want to do it? And so if you believe in yourself, if you just trust in God, yes, that is definitely getting you closer to the mark. But I can honestly say that as someone who has done community theater, to someone who definitely has a strong belief in God, and someone who has definitely served her time in learning the hard knocks, learning technique and going to class is so important throughout the whole time here because you really can get stale. You really can get like lazy or negligent or just not grow. And then we're not built like an instrument that just get real good and you know what the soft spots are. We evolve. We're constantly growing. We're constantly changing. Our bodies are getting older. And so there are certain things that it just behooves us to do to get better. And it's called investing in training. So these are things that I just believe I'm just a big advocate for.
Lisa poses this question. Lisa's a student in
Mhm.
my Black theater class, so I know why she's asking this one. What should Black theater consist of? But let me potentially reframe that. There
Okay.
was a lot to come out during the lockdown about equity in Black theater. And I know as a union rep, you probably had a lot to do with the We See You White American Theater, right? Can you talk a little bit about the role of the Black artist in contemporary American theater and some of the changes that are taking place right now?
Yeah. It's a lot of angles to hit there because a lot of people are invested in various different levels of this, whether it's mental health, physical health, safety, racism, anti-racism, anti-harassment, all of the things. Here's my stance on it. I think I signed the We See You movement bill, and also I just want to say I sure hope we can see us because there's two sides to that. While we're so busy looking for validation from white theater, I just feel like we don't need it. We've never needed it. It has its purpose, and I value that. But then I also feel like we have our purpose and we should value it. There's certain things that ETA and Black Ensemble gave me that I'm never gonna get no place else. I value that, and I think that if we took more care of ourselves, and if we took more care of our own institutions, we would be better. And so I wish that all those people that signed that We See You bill would also be active subscribers in their local Black theaters, which I'm sure they're not. So that's a big deal. I feel like we need money. We have white theaters out here with major budgets. And then when it gets to Black theaters, we looking like figure it out, make the best of it. Now you got a fraction of what those organizations have, as if we don't need it. And I don't like how we treat each other. You know, we're very crabs in the bucket. We can be. I think we can be very judgmental of each other. When you cross over into white theater, that must mean that you ain't down enough to come back over here. No, it means we also need a place to go when the white theater doesn't put their annual Black show in. And these are things that I think we need to be more responsible for, because they don't have to give us anything. We have everything. We have the talent, we have the means, we have the finances. We just got to give it back to ourselves. And I think that can only start with self-care. So that's how I
And then
feel.
when you look at someone like Tyler Perry, who was widely successful performing on the circuit and then creating his own studio.
Sure.
A student asked, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Oh man, so many different places. I'm definitely a nature girl. I love the moon and the sun, grass, and even though plants, I'm a plant mom, but man, I need to be better. My whole one plant is just like, please help. So, but I love nature. I also love documentaries. I'll sit and watch documentaries all day if I could. That octopus documentary, I love that. I also love looking at like master classes from Oprah's catalog. That really inspires me a lot. And then new music, new pieces. So if I like go see a show that I really like, it'll motivate me to start like trying to write more, or just investing more in like it motivates me to create. I can say that. Also, my kid, you know, when I see them doing stuff, I'm like, it motivates me. It inspires me to want more for this industry and for myself and for the people who look like me and who don't. So I like that too. Whitney Houston is my absolute favorite. Also, gospel music, my absolute favorite. If I put that on, I'm just automatically like charged to like carry on.
I think it's important that you let people know that you're also a singer, right?
Yes.
Just like your daughter's not just an actress, Genesis is an MC and a poet.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
also a vocalist who performs. So that might be some of the
Yeah.
connections to music there.
Yeah.
One panelist, a guest asked, how do you feel about environmental justice?
Ooh, if you can break down to me exactly what you mean by environmental justice, so I can make sure I'm speaking to the right thing, because I don't want to make it up.
Can you give us a little more specificity, please? Someone said, I always put her on the spot that way, but she's on set. Are they shooting right now? Or can I put you on the spot, Rashada? You've got two of them wanting to hear your vocals.
I see. I don't mind. They don't seem like I haven't heard action, and they making a lot of noise, so it should be fine.
So this is musical theater great here. So
yeah, it's my favorite. One of my favorite songs goes oh, dang, I'm loud though. How it must feel to go racing wherever you please, flying as free as a bird with his tail in the breeze. Even the fish in the sea must be longing to fly, catching a glimpse of a stranger in white racing by. Oh God, are you there? What can I do to get you to look down and give in? Oh God, hear my prayer. I'm here in the field with my feet on the ground and my feet in the air, waiting for life to begin. That's from Once on the
Thank
Silent.
you.
Yeah.
Ken says, how communities of people of color are disproportionately and negatively impacted by climate change due to systemic racism.
Oh man, that's really loaded. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't given that much thought to that. Thank you, everybody. To be honest, it's me personally. I think it's something though that we should all learn more about and be more aware of as best as we can. Because I think there's a lot of things right now that we've had space to think about and to analyze and talk about. And once we learn as much as we can as to why we're there, then we can do a little more to figure out how we can not be there. But if we're just speaking more from like passionately being like, look at what's happened, that's not enough. I think we have to learn about how we got here. And that's something I can't speak to because I don't really know how we got to this place with the injustice in the environment.
I'm going to now start to ask you a few more questions. What role do you think social media play as an actor in terms of helping you land roles? Can it assist you, or can it be detrimental to your landing roles?
You know what? It's catch 22. I think we all should be mindful around what we put on social media. However, I also feel like that some people even hire based on your followers. So it's really tricky because that's new. When I heard friends of mine be like, yo, they're asking for my Instagram to see how many followers I have, I was like, what? But that's a real thing because they're trying to figure out how to promote their stuff too. And if they can promote their stuff using your page, that helps get them more exposure for their projects.
It
So,
may allow them to reconsider you for a role, right?
yep, yep. If you don't have a lot of followers, then they feel like, ah, well, you're not that known. You're not known in the business. So maybe we'll hire someone else who might be less talented, but more out there, which really happens. So I think we do have to be more mindful about engaging in social media because that's where people go to find out what's happening now.
Now, I have a lot of students here who use social media a lot. Do we have to be careful with what we put on there, do you think?
Yes, please. Say that one more time.
Do we have to be mindful of what we put on social media? Or can we just rant and put all of our emotional expressions feeling out there?
I think it serves different things for different people. I'm an advocate for mental health, so I will say this. If you know exactly who your audience is, like if you are highly secured up on social media, you got all 300 friends that you got on there are your people, um, say what you need to say. Can it be screenshot and sent around? If you don't mind that, say what you need to say, but just know that because there are people who now in the corporate world they checking all the time and they might not hire you based on your feelings about politics or your feelings about religion or oversharing. I had someone in an interview literally ask me, how do you feel about oversharing? I was like, dang, I don't even know what that would mean. Like that's based on if you think what you think oversharing is. If you think I share too much about my kids or what I do for a living, I might not get this job. So different strokes for different folks, but I do think what I do is say, would I be okay, whatever I post, would I be okay with it being shared? Would I be okay with it being screenshot and sent around? I even do that with my text messages now because now even that's a thing. Where people screenshot your text and then we'll post that thing and let everybody know what you said. And you're like, dang, I thought I was just talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is something to be very, very mindful of. And I mean, I wouldn't hire anybody based on their social media posts, but some people do.
And for actors, if we're looking at them to see who they are, it might matter, right? Maybe we do like the fact that you're outlandish and over the top, but maybe we
Right.
don't, right? A question, what's been the biggest obstacle that you faced in your career and how did you overcome it?
The biggest obstacle to date, I can say, was probably having that mental breakdown and having to leave the Lion King show. Um, I mean, it was crazy because I was making the most money I had ever made in my entire career. I have traveled to over 45 states because of that show. And I've got the endurance that I think I now know why Broadway is a big deal. And it's because working a show of that caliber 8 times a week, you build up a certain stamina that is unmatched.
Mhm.
So, and then that family is the only family I really had for the last, those 4 years. So, it was hard coming home and figuring out how do I adjust to regular life now. Um, I was scared. I was insecure, embarrassed. I just had no clue of how I was going, if I was even going to continue in the career. And here's the other part about being an actor. When you're building up your acting resume, what's happening to your corporate resume, right? It's like if you take this on full time, um, when you try to go and go back into like a corporate environment, they're looking like, what have you been doing? And if you say, oh, I've been an actor, they're looking at you like, what is that? So, down to everything from trying to get a car, trying to buy a house, everyone's looking like the acting world, money comes, money goes. So everyone's trying to figure out your level of credibility. And it was hard. I'm really grateful to have been a part of even Chicago State, but then again, it was like, you know, being torn between two worlds because it doesn't just go away. You're still like, even if you're sitting at a desk, knowing that you performed in front of thousands of people at a time, how do you adjust back to that? It's really hard. But what I've learned is whew, when your name is on something, there's nothing you can do to mess it up. It's
Mm.
just nothing you can do. It will always find you, no matter where you are. If your purpose, if you believe in it and give it a little air, little effort, little push, and you show that you linked in with it, it's gonna find you. And it's your job then, once you get in tune with it, to like carry it out. And it's taught me a level of resilience that I I I can't come back from. Um, and so to that state, I will just say I'm sitting and watching my kid right now who endured bullying and has gotten expelled from a school because she endured bullying from this private school that I thought was a great investment, better than anything I'd ever had. We as parents give our kids, we want them to have way better than what we had. And there I was, and she was being tormented by that experience. And now seeing her on set with all these people following her around and doing her makeup and hair and giving her all this attention. And she's feeling, and then like having her literally stand on a platform and taking these beautiful pictures. She's being treated and adorned in a way I couldn't have set up. So I just feel like if you stick with it and watch it play out, it's gonna work out. It just really is. Just stay with it, and that's what the hardest experience. That's what taught me. I now have people from Lion King, my friends, that are just like still calling, being like, "Yo, you are an inspiration," because we didn't know what was gonna happen to you, and now look at you. So, and it's still more to go. There's no like credits at the end of this thing. You still got to play it out. So I don't even know what's going to happen 40 years from now, but I embrace today.
And we have more questions, but we're pretty much out of time. So I
Oh
want to
no. Can you
ask,
squeeze one more in?
okay, we'll try to do one more. What are
Okay.
some of the difficulties of the acting business?
Difficult of the acting business is probably the rejection part. A lot of people don't like that because you constantly are going in and having to put your all into it, and then you don't get the call, and you're like, dang. But practice hearing no. Get friends with no. I love the word no because that only means that it's something else that has a yes on it for me. So just go in, keep being prepared, and then let it go. Let it go. The industry is not here to take care of you. The people here are not here. They are here to take care of the industry. They're here to take care of the project. They're not here to make sure that you're okay. My kid is being taken care of because they're taking care of a show. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility to take care of her. So when you go in and you get that rejection, no, just get the no, go on to the next thing. Go on to the next thing and then do what you need to do for yourself in order to be okay. That's the hardest part of this. And then one thing I do, just one more note, if I audition, after the audition is over, I've studied all the lines, I throw the sides in the garbage because that's my way of detaching from it. I go, okay, I did all I can do from it. Now it's over. Bye. Because the job is the audition. That's really it. The cherry is the gig when you land it.
And I have one final question, and then I
Okay.
will let you go. What's the most valuable lesson that you've learned about acting that you can share with our audience today?
Valuable lesson that I've learned about acting. I don't know. The most valuable lesson. Probably that um, there's always something to learn. Like I feel like there's always something to learn. That's the thing about this. Right when you get into the flow of it, there's something else. Then you got more. I don't know, relationships to build, or you have another character to learn about, or figure out how you're going to access that emotion, or tell that story, or you get to build over and over and over and over again. And I enjoy that process, constantly getting to learn, even to learn when I'm wrong or when I didn't nail it, or to even learn that I still get nervous. So I'm on a show called 61st Street, and that's filming right now. And I was like, oh, I'm still really nervous. And I had to figure out, how do I do my thing while they do their thing? And I'm like, I hope I did good, because in TV and film, there's no audience. You don't get the standing ovation at the end. You don't get the apples or the boos. You know what I'm saying? So you're just like, I hope I did good. So the constant learning of who you are, you evolving, how you grow up, it's really cool. Hey, yeah,
Well, Rashada, thank you
yeah.
so much for joining us today and
Thank
sharing your
you.
insights into the industry and showing us a little bit around the set. We appreciate that. So sorry we couldn't see Genesis, but we're glad that she's working and shooting
Yeah.
right now. We would like to remind you all that we do have another panel that starts at 1 p.m. where we'll explore careers in PR and advertising. You can reuse this link to access today's panels. Please remember to visit csu.edu/CMAT and click on events to view the full lineup. We are also pleased to announce that Chicago State will have full face-to-face classes in the fall. Please visit csu.edu for more information about registration and scholarships. And again, thank you, Rashada. We so appreciate it. And if you're a teacher and you want to receive developmental credits, please see the information in the chat. If you are interested in seeing more, which we hope you are, please know that you'll receive a conference link tomorrow morning. Thank you again. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.